Very good morning to you, 7 a.m., Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Yes, the day before Election Day. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. If you notice a little something different, yep, we have a little debut of our new graphics package. Hope you enjoy it today. Let us know how you feel about it. And nonetheless, we will take those calls, 888-658-0234. Some clouds today, could be even a shower. Highs around 60. Lots of sunshine, though, for Election Day tomorrow. There is no excuse to stay home. If you have not voted yet, get your butt in gear tomorrow. Get up 3 hours early, shower, makeup, cancel all appointments, just vote. Head straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the first check of the Garden State forecast for your Monday. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. We had a beautiful weekend, gorgeous sunshine, a very crisp November feel, and it's nice to see that beautiful weather lasts into tomorrow for Election Day. We start off this morning quite cool, with temperatures running about 50 in Newark, even 39 back over toward Morristown, 39 in Flemington, 45 in Trenton. So this is quite average for the first Monday in November. With this cool weather, you notice the sun was up an hour earlier, get that nice early start. But you probably also noticed it was pitch black by 5 o'clock last night. So we head into that time of year where we see a little bit of a warmer feel around this morning, thanks to all the sunshine and cool air. Now, there are some showers working in across southern New Jersey. This is a very short-lived system that kind of skips out to sea throughout the course of this morning. So if you're waking up this morning south of the Atlantic City Expressway, you have some light rain. It's creeping as far north as about Tom's River, say exit 82, 89, on the Parkway. North of that, north of 195, just cloudy skies this morning, but gradually we'll see the sun return today with a lighter breeze. Winds right now about 18 miles per hour, not making for too much of a wind chill, maybe up towards Sussex County. Have a light wind chill this morning, making it feel like it's around freezing. Throughout the course of this morning, a light easterly breeze persists, anywhere from 15 to 20 mile per hour gusts, and then those winds push in from the west, and that allows us to dry out tomorrow, bringing back loads of clear sky and lots of sunshine on our Election Day. So we finish out the day again with a few light showers, finish out the morning with a few light showers. By the afternoon, the clouds break for some sun, and we're back to clearing throughout this evening. Could there be a rogue sprinkle across northern New Jersey? Yes, but more than likely you stay dry today into this evening. We start off early tomorrow morning with lots of clear sky, temperatures in the upper 40s to around 50, climbing all day under mostly sunny skies to near 60. So a really pretty day to get the vote out. And then by tomorrow night, we stay dry. I think Wednesday offers a little bit of a milder trend. Some places could be pushing the upper 60s by the middle of the week after what will be a pretty mild midweek. And then by Wednesday, Thursday night into Friday, we see that cool down occur with a northwesterly breeze, and we're back in the 30s and 40s at night, bringing a little chill back to New Jersey just in time for the weekend. So a dry period ahead beyond the early morning showers today down the shore. It's quite tranquil the rest of the week. And we'll take that given how we had all that activity last week with the thunderstorms on Thursday evening. There's our warming trend by Wednesday up to 63. Some places could be in the upper 60s before cooling back down, Ken, into the 50s on Thursday.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. And yes, everybody, we know there's a mic issue. We will fix that. We will definitely get to that. But thank you so much, Mike. There's a mic issue with Mike. At least there's not a mic issue with Ken, because then it would sound funny. All right, Mike, we'll check back with you. Thank you, sir. 41 degrees right now, northern New Jersey, 43 in Trenton. And in terms of traffic, we have a crash now on the New Jersey Turnpike northbound by the entrance ramp to at interchange 13, which is by 278, the Goethals Bridge in Elizabeth. The right lane is blocked. We have delays also on Route 440 southbound, north of Amboy Avenue to north of New Brunswick Avenue in Perth Amboy. All lanes are open there, but nonetheless, lots and lots of delays to report on that. We also have issues New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur eastbound exit ramp by interchange 16E. That's just volume at this point going through there. And now we have, it just popped up in front of us, we now have issues going into the Lincoln Tunnel. So now Lincoln and Holland Tunnel, they're telling us, is 20 to 25 minutes. Lincoln, we have delays at the Center Tunnel eastbound. Travel time is now 30 to 35 making your way from the Turnpike through to the Lincoln Tunnel. Take a look at the upper and lower levels of the GWB 8095 approach at this early hour, and it is jammed, stopped, bumper to bumper. Let's see, what other way can we describe it? Heavy. So give yourselves a lot of extra travel time making your way into the GWB upper and lower levels on the 8095 approach. And yes, we will take those calls, as it says on the screen, at 888-658-0234. Our time is 7:05 right now, and it comes down to this. One day, Election Day, tomorrow. It is the final chance for New Jersey voters to head to the polls, and the race for governor couldn't be closer. This weekend, former President Barack Obama made a stop in the Garden State to show his support for Democratic candidate Mikey Sherrill. Obama's endorsement Saturday came at a critical moment in the campaign as polls show the candidates in a dead heat. The most important pollster who actually got the last two presidential elections right by within a point has these two candidates literally 9/10 of a point apart with a 2-point margin of error, which means they are technically tied. Either one could win. Do you understand why it's important, no matter whom you're supporting, that tomorrow cancel all plans and cancel all plans but one, voting, get to the polling place? Very, very important. So the candidates making a final push to energize supporters and win over undecided voters, the few who remain. On New Jersey's Jyoti Reiki has more from the rally.
New Jersey has seen its fair share of political stars from across the country as we inch closer and closer to Election Day, from Governor Shapiro and Whitmer to Pete Buttigieg. And now we hear from President Barack Obama to encourage people to get out and vote.
Give a very loud New Jersey welcome to the 44th President of the United States of America.
A packed auditorium in one of the most critical voting districts in the state of New Jersey, giving a warm welcome to former President Barack Obama as he stumped for Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill in her bid as governor.
You have a candidate worth being excited about. You got a future governor to be excited about in Mikey Sherrill.
The president touting the second-term Congresswoman's track record and experience as voters have their say in who will run the Garden State. People across the nation seeing the governor's race as a litmus test for the Trump administration's first year and upcoming midterm elections.
It's hard to know where to start because every day this White House offers up a fresh batch of lawlessness and carelessness and mean-spiritedness and just plain old craziness.
The Trump administration's tough on immigration stance a critical issue for voters across the state, with some also acknowledging President Obama's deportation record and Mikey Sherrill's lack of clarity on the future of the Immigrant Trust Act.
And it's a crucial election. If you are out there and you're still wondering whether or not you need to vote, I suggest you get up, get off the sidelines, and vote ASAP.
Nevertheless, the crowd leaving the event feeling charged up with the inspirational themes of hope and change President Obama is known for.
It was wonderful. We love Mikey Sherrill. We campaigned for her for Congress. And then to see her with Obama, who's amazing. I think it's going to be such a great election.
And on the Republican side, President Donald Trump has also held a tele-rally with Jack Ciattarelli. How much weight these endorsements will hold has yet to be seen when polls close on November 4th. Reporting in Newark, I'm Jyoti Reiki for On New Jersey.
Thank you for that report, Jyoti. And our time now is 7:09. Even though early voting is over in New Jersey voters, of course, as we mentioned, still have time and several ways to cast their ballots in this year's general election. If you've registered to vote by mail with only a day until Election Day, do not put your ballot in the mailbox, because if it gets there after tomorrow, it don't count. All right. So if you have a mail-in ballot, what you have to do is place it in an official secure drop box. My suggestion, if you're not sure which drop boxes are official secure drop boxes, go directly to the County Board of Elections by 8 p.m. tomorrow. So that's if you have a mail-in ballot still. Fill it out at home as you would. take it directly to the County Board of Elections if you want to be 1 billion% sure your vote will count. Of course, voters can just head to their local polling place on Election Day if that's what you'd normally do. Do that tomorrow. The hours are 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. We get confused sometimes because if you watch New York TV, you hear them say 9 p.m. because 9 p.m. is New York. That's when they close. New Jersey closes at 8 p.m. So that gives us that extra hour to count the ballots. We may end up getting a count before the end of the night. We'll see what happens. But accommodations are available for voters with disabilities, and all details, including polling locations, can be found if you go to vote.nj.gov. That's vote.nj.gov. 7:10 is our time. Ongoing shortages of air traffic controllers, many working without pay during the federal government shutdown by Chuck Schumer, are undercutting airport operations and causing delays. The FAA reports the staffing issues they're having problems with at control towers and TRACON facilities have forced the agency to reduce or slow traffic in some regions. Major U.S. airports, including ours here at Newark, and others around the country, including Chicago, Dallas, Denver, LA, and San Fran, are registering serious delays, all tied to staffing strains. Officials issued a ground stop at Newark Liberty yesterday due to a shortage of controllers. According to the flight tracking site FlightAware, nearly 3,300 flights within, into, or out of the United States had to be delayed yesterday. Almost 530 had to be canceled altogether. Even as most flights are still operating, the mounting pressure on the aviation system highlights how vulnerable the National Airspace Network is when staffing and budget issues clash. 7:11 is our time. A family of 5, including 3 kids, died in a house fire in Patterson Halloween night. One of the victims, identified by Patterson Mayor Andre Saya, is 39-year-old Abu Hedba. He is currently the brother of the, he is currently the cousin, not brother, of Assemblyman Al-Abed Yaziz. Strong winds made the fire spread quickly, reaching the second floor where the family was, and even melted the siding of the neighbor's house. 7 other people in the house survived, including a girl with special needs, but they're now homeless. The Red Cross is helping with food, clothing, and a temporary place will be available for school students because of the tragedy. It is now 7:12, 42 degrees. Clouds today, maybe an afternoon shower, highs in the low 60s, but we'll have lots of sunshine for Election Day tomorrow. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. And we will take calls at 888-658-0234. 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings for your Monday, the day before Election Day. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
And welcome back to ONNJ Mornings for your Monday. I'm Ken Rosato at 7:15, and we will take your calls at 888-658-0234. We're going to have some clouds today. Could be a shower, highs around 60. It's not going to rain on our parade for tomorrow, though, with lots of sunshine. It's going to be a beautiful day. Perfect to get out and vote. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. Fix the audio. We sound good, crystal clear.
Yes,
All
beautiful,
right. Had to
delicious.
do a clean install yesterday. Wiped the computer of all the garbage, and just in time for the refreshing graphics refresh. Right? Nice way to start off a Monday. Nice way to see you. And with the sunshine that's forecast for tomorrow, it's going to be a beautiful day to get out the vote on Election Day in New Jersey. Today, a few light showers. If you find yourself south of 195, maybe Point Pleasant, picking up a few light sprinkles later on this morning, even toward Toms River, it won't be necessarily a rainy day. I think the rain ends by the midday, leaving us with just clouds for the afternoon. But you can even see here on the clouds and radar picture, most of those clouds came in last night, with it a few light showers around this morning, mostly entering portions of Cape May County through Atlantic City, up through LBI, and then scooting eastward after 11 o'clock this morning. So we're left with just clouds for the second part of the afternoon, and then into this evening we clear out nicely. All this dry real estate is headed toward New Jersey for today. Any of these showers you see over the Great Lakes, they skip off to our north into tomorrow. So we're beautiful on our Tuesday with mostly sunny skies. Even skipping ahead to the weekend, we continue that dry, mild trend with temperatures holding in the 60s for Saturday. But I think by Sunday, could have some wet weather around with a few showers developing by the end of the weekend. Overall, it's a very dry trend for tomorrow and milder through the middle of the week. We'll tell you more about it coming up with the 7-day forecast, Ken. That's in a few minutes.
All right, sir. Very good. It is 7:17 in terms of traffic. Do we have it? By the way, 42 degrees here in northern New Jersey, 44 degrees in Trenton. And yes, we do have traffic. In fact, looking at the Jersey Turnpike, we have a crash now. This is northbound by the entrance ramp to exit 13, and this is by 278 Goethals Bridge in Elizabeth. So this is definitely causing a mess through there right now. We also have delays into the Lincoln Tunnel. We're told now it's 35 to 40 minutes, and that's making your way from I-95, the turnpike, over. If you're trying to get on from 495, like Route 3, 495, that's going to take you about 30 minutes. So it's a mess today. Definitely not a great day. In fact, if you can, try to take mass transit, do the commute that way, because it is definitely not easy. In terms of your Holland Tunnel, that's a good approach. Right now, we're talking about 20 to 25 minutes. And GWB, let's take a look at the 8095 approach if we can. It's heavy. And this is not pretty either, but this nonetheless is going to be your issue today. So if you can, at all costs, try to take mass transit, as I said, or definitely give yourselves the extra travel time, because you are going to need it today. 7:18 is our time, and Governor Murphy, Senate President Scuteri, and Assembly Speaker Coughlin announced a quick delivery of $42.5 million in food and hunger grants to New Jersey food banks as the government shutdown has halted the release of SNAP benefits. The USDA says they will not fund SNAP benefits affecting over 800,000 New Jersey residents. Now, it's not that they're not doing it because of being mean. It's not that they're not doing it for any reason except the government is shut down. It's just 5 Democrats actually, in the U.S. Senate refused to vote for the continuing resolution, which would simply extend the existing budget for 4 weeks. That's all it would do. It's not the whole new spending plan. It takes the existing budget, which was passed by Democrats under a Democrat administration a year ago, and just extend it 4 weeks so everyone could get back to work and the Senate and the House could get back to negotiating a new budget for next year. But the Democrats don't want that. They want to cause chaos because they know they have a minority number in both the House and the Senate, and they're not going to get all the goodies that they want because they're not going to get the votes. So they're being petulant children, and they're saying, well, we're not going to vote. And they think it's going to hurt the Republicans because of the government shutdown. But what's happening, the asses that they are, what's happening is that people realize they are the ones. Every Republican in the House and Senate is voting to continue the resolution to open the government. It's only 5 senators under the orders of Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer. Yes, I'm Chuck Schumer, arrogantly looking down my nose at you. And I know the man, and he does do that. It is only them holding the government up right now, which is why President Trump said, listen, screw them. If necessary, go nuclear, which means don't do 60 votes in the Senate, as the rule says. Switch it to 51 votes, which they can do. It's their own rule. But once you do that, then every Senate from here on in will do that, which means whoever the party is who is not in power will now lose that power to filibuster. So you don't want to do that. That's the last ditch effort. But it's the Democrats holding this up. So 800,000 New Jersey residents now have to figure out where to get their food thanks to Democrats. And what do Democrats in New Jersey do? Reward Democrats by voting for more Democrats. What the hell is wrong with you? You want the food, you need your food stamps, yet you keep voting for the party that's now keeping you from getting your food stamps. I don't get it. I don't get it. Look it up. Don't believe me. Look it up. Grants have been allocated to 6 major organizations, including the Community Food Bank of New Jersey and Food Bank of South Jersey, ensuring that they can continue providing food to needy individuals. But that's a temporary grant, a temporary thing. You can't keep that up. That's literally robbing from Peter to pay Paul. Governor Murphy declared a state of emergency in New Jersey effective Saturday due to the federal suspension of SNAP benefits because the government shut. He's making it sound like Trump said, I'm not going to give food to those poor people anymore. It's not the way it happened. SNAP recipients can access any remaining balances from October or prior months on their card, and those receiving state supplemental benefits will continue to receive them. The recent arrests of NBA players on suspicion of illegal sports betting that put the entire gambling industry under a spotlight. A new smart asset study on the state of legal sports betting finds New Jersey ranked number 5 of the popularity of the pastime. Some key findings: $133 million in Garden State tax revenues comes from legal sports gambling. Montana generates the highest amount of taxes per capita from that, averaging $56 a resident. New York, Pennsylvania, and Illinois lead the 50 states for collecting the most overall taxes from sports gambling, with New York generating nearly $1 billion in annual revenue. Morris County celebrating Operation Greenlight for Veterans Week through November 11th to honor military vets and raise awareness of support programs. County buildings are being lit green as a sign of gratitude. Green lights symbolize hope and support for the roughly 200,000 service members transitioning from military to civilian life each year. Residents are encouraged to join by displaying green lights at home and share photos on social media using hashtag Operation Greenlight. Let's take a look as Republican gubernatorial candidate Jack Ciattarelli took the opportunity to vote early, trying to encourage Republicans to do that from now on. Take advantage. Vote early if you can. So this was Jack voting. He was going into the polling place, and I'm wondering who he voted for. You could scratch your head and wonder. There you go. And there he is. Let's wait until he goes in. Somebody sneak in with a camera, quick. I love how we have to explain. Okay, Mr. Ciattarelli, press this, press that. Anyway, there he goes. Jack's a happy man. He worked very hard. Listen, no matter what the outcome, Assemblyman Ciattarelli, who hopefully will be Governor Ciattarelli, for those of us who are opinionated, and I never made it a secret about my opinion, we wish him well. We wish Mikey Sherrill well as well. It is 7:23 after voting on Friday. Ciattarelli fired up supporters at a raucous rally in Belmar, declaring that victory is within reach. He slammed Mikey Sherrill's support for Biden's border and inflation policies, voting against detaining criminal migrants, allowing biological boys and girls sports and in their bathrooms and shower rooms, and backing sanctuary cities, which has cost us hundreds of billions of dollars nationwide. So every time you have a budget shortfall, scratch your head. Do the math. I did it for New York. I did it for New Jersey. If you figure out, you just calculate based on the numbers that liberal legislators and lawmakers are giving us. If you count up, if they say there are 800,000 illegals in the state, and you figure out how much the budget shortfall is, I guarantee you in every case, that's why. Now, I'm not trying to be mean here, but the fact is we didn't used to have tens of millions of illegals in this country. We didn't have budget shortfalls everywhere. We're paying more taxes now than we ever did. The answer is not paying more taxes. You just can't keep the door open and welcome the whole world in. There are 7-8 billion people on the planet. They can't all come here. Help them to fix the problems in their country, but you don't help them by propping them up and letting them come here. That country will continue to be a mess, and then it'll just bring down our country as well. Chitterelli touted surging polls showing a dead heat, outpacing his Democratic rival in fundraising and energy.
There are positive signs everywhere we're going to win this race. But let me tell you something, because of you, I've never been more committed, never been more determined, never been more energized, and never more confident that we're going to win this race. I'm telling you right now. What are the positive signs? Have you seen the recent polls? We're right there, baby. It's a dead heat. We'll finish strong, deliver a win. We're out fundraising my opponent, out energizing my opponent, and today I picked up another endorsement of a prominent Democrat, this time a former assemblyman up in Hudson County. That tells you people want change. It also tells you we're going to win. When the Democrats are endorsing the Republican, we're going to win.
Chitterelli also outlined his day one agenda, vowing executive orders to end sanctuary status statewide. See, unlike Mikey Sherrill, and with all due respect to Mikey Sherrill, who says she's going to freeze energy costs with the sweep of a pen, she can't do that. And I'll tell you why. She can't do that because the energy companies are private companies. She has no control over them. She can't control them. That is not a state thing. Number two, any spending plans or control to spending has to come from the legislature. It doesn't come from the governor. Okay, even though we have a strong governor in New Jersey, it doesn't come from the governor. It comes from the legislature. Even Governor Murphy says, you can't do that, Mikey. That's why you don't see him. Have you noticed you don't see Governor Murphy anywhere near Mikey Sherrill? You notice Governor Murphy has not campaigned anywhere for her. She has not asked him to campaign anywhere. Think about that. And that is because he already made it clear. And so did many Democrat lawmakers in New Jersey. That's why 5 of them have switched parties and endorsed Jack. She doesn't know what she's talking about. She doesn't have that authority. Jack Chitterelli, though, does have the authority to end the sanctuary status statewide. Why? Because sanctuary status is actually not a choice to proactively create a law. Sanctuary status is already creating a law that doesn't exist. So all he's doing is saying we will no longer do something that shouldn't have been legally allowed to begin with because there's nowhere in the books where it says it is allowed. So we will no longer follow Murphy's carbon taxes, Murphy's sanctuary status. All of this stuff was added up later. It doesn't exist on the books. Meanwhile, a new poll from Atlas Intel appears to show Chitterelli with a significant lead among black voters. According to the poll, Chitterelli leads Sherrill by 20 points, 60-40. If that happens, it is all over. And Jack Chitterelli will be the next governor of New Jersey. All right, right now it is 7:27, and when we come back, we'll speak with a professor of political science from Montclair State about the state of the governor's race. The phone lines are open, 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, day before Election Day on this Monday. I'm Ken Rosato. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Don't go away.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chitterelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Good morning to you right now. It is 45 degrees northern New Jersey, 44 in Trenton, 44 degrees in Cape May on your Monday, November 3rd, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Some clouds today, could be an afternoon shower. Highs in the low 60s, but lots of sunshine for Election Day tomorrow. No excuse not to get out and vote. Meteorologist Mike Favetta has the detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Good morning to you, Ken. Nice to see you on this Monday. Ken, I have to ask you, with tomorrow being Election Day, we have beautiful weather. Yesterday, we had gorgeous weather for the New York City Marathon. How was your marathon Sunday?
So it was great. I was on, as you know, for 710 WOR radio, got to be along the parade. The parade. I could call it a parade. It felt like that. The marathon route. I was at mile marker 20 in the Bronx, and there were 57,000 people who took part. And it's an
Yeah.
amazing thing if you've never been out. I'm sure you have, but for anyone who has not been out to see marathoners running, the look on their faces of commitment is unreal. I highly advise
True.
it. Give them that support, and you feel like you become one with that person as they're like really giving it their all.
Uh-huh.
Where I was, they had to come over a hill, go down, make a left turn, a hard left, then get down a hill, and then make a hard right. That had to be agonizing at the 20-mile mark. So even though it was almost done, 26.2 miles is a marathon,
Sure.
the 20-mile part they call the midway point because of that hard series of turns and hills, because it's so agonizing. Many people stop and cramp up there or give up. That's how hard that
Wow.
point is. So it
Yeah.
was amazing to be there. But thank you for asking. It was a beautiful day. Weather-wise, it was perfect, gorgeous.
It was ideal, and it was so beautiful with the dry weather. The signs for me are the best part because, yes, you have the cheering, the cowbells, the energy of the city, but some of those signs, you got to look at them online.
Yeah.
They're fantastic. Very
Yep.
clever New Yorkers putting together some funny signs.
Good deal. Yeah, it was definitely. Listen, every year we do bigger and better. New York always gets bigger and better every year. It's worth going in and checking out, but you got to get there the
That's
night
right.
before because you can't come in that morning. It's impossible. Good luck with that. So how are we
It
looking? You
does.
said it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow. So today is like, that's okay. It's not awful, right? But tomorrow is going to be perfect.
No, and most of New Jersey doesn't even see the rain today. And really, if you're in the southern part of the state, south of Atlantic City, you're waking up to some showers this morning, Atlantic County, Cape May County, and even maybe portions of LBI. But your rain is done by about 11 a.m., and then we're back to some clouds for this afternoon as temperatures climb into the low 60s. That's our average high. It's where we should be, low 60s with all of that wet weather, predominantly south of 195 today. So it looks like it's moving up, but it's actually headed out to sea very quickly. The dry weather takes over for the rest of the afternoon with just clouds for the remainder of the day. Wind gusts anywhere from 10 to 20 miles per hour at the shoreline. Inland, it'll stay quite nice. And then there's already some breaks of sun by 2 o'clock up in northern New Jersey as we warm into the low 60s. Plenty of clouds down south, but that clears out later on today by 5 or 6 o'clock. Will be dry and then clear throughout the overnight. So getting you started, 6 a.m. polls open tomorrow in New Jersey. We start off with 38 degrees in Morristown, 45 in Long Branch, 45 in Atlantic City, and 50 in Cape May. All through the day, it warms and will sit just in the upper 50s and low 60s. Sunshine throughout the afternoon, and then when polls close at 8 o'clock, it'll still be in the upper 40s, so a very pleasant feel throughout the evening and dry throughout. Temperatures warm a little bit more by Wednesday, and we keep it dry through the rest of the week. So there goes our chance of rain this morning down south. We dry out again for tomorrow and Wednesday with a little bit of a milder trend. Keeping it clear throughout Wednesday and Thursday. I think there could be a few extra clouds by the middle of the day on Thursday. And then by Friday, looking great going into the start of the weekend. So dry weather throughout after today. It looks very pleasant and milder too. 63, that's a few degrees above average. Friday into Saturday, could see some more clouds. And then there's this chance of rain on Sunday as we only get to 55 degrees. So likely wetter and cooler by the second half of the weekend. But look at the highs by Wednesday, 65 and sunny down the shore. Very pleasant, unusually mild by a few degrees. Even through Saturday, we start off nice and quiet. And then Sunday, Sunday should stay dry this weekend at the shore. Another check of your forecast, Ken, is just minutes away.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. At 42 degrees now, at 7:34, and we have 44 down at Trenton. It's 42 northern New Jersey. And we take a look at traffic. A bunch of stuff starting to pop up on the screen right now. Let's go to the Garden State Parkway southbound. This is at exit 130BA, which is Route 1 in Woodbridge Township. All lanes are open, believe it or not, but look at that delay. It stretches for about 2 miles. Don't know what's going on in the center lane. That seems to be worse than any of the side lanes there. But just to give you a heads up on that, that is again Woodbridge, Garden State Parkway by 130BA on the southbound side. Northbound side seems to be moving just well. Garden State Parkway has some delays now. Outer roadway northbound, vicinity of interchange 13A by Newark Airport with about a 2-mile delay there as well. Just volume at this early hour. And we take a look at the Hudson River approaches. Right now we're told 35 to 40 at the Lincoln. It's 25 to 30 at the Holland and the GWB upper and lower levels. Very heavy right now, 35 to 40 minutes, either the lower level on the left, upper level on the right. 7:35 tomorrow, of course, is election day, and to break down the state of the race and the issues that matter most to voters, we have Dr. Fannie Lobby, who is a professor of political science at Montclair State. Good morning to you, Dr. Lobby.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
You bet. This is busy season. This is busy season for a professor like yourself, I'm sure. Lots of questions. Before we ask you the questions, I want you to see what happened over the weekend. President Trump, of course, held a tele-rally in support of Jack Ciattarelli, and former President Barack Obama, dueling powers here, came out to support Mikey Sherrill and to tell New Jersey voters to get out and vote tomorrow. Listen to President Obama.
Leaders who will tell the truth and take responsibility. Leaders who will tackle hard problems and bring people together instead of dividing them. Leaders who won't serve big bosses in Washington or big corporate donors, but instead will serve the people who put them there. New Jersey, we need leaders like Mikey Sherrill.
There are a few people who can speak like Barack Obama. I mean, former President Obama he's just one of the most powerful orators we've ever had in this country, period. I don't care what your politics are. The man gives chills because he's so good. Is that enough to move the independent voter, the voter who's still undecided 24 hours before election day? Do you think that these kinds of rallies will help somebody to decide?
Well, I think they definitely help in the sense that they help shore up the legitimacy of a candidate, the viability of a candidate. It helps also give a sense of urgency, perhaps, to the base of each party when they see that the big names in each party comes out in that last weekend. So we know that the state is getting more and more competitive. So we have seen in the past both parties in the past few months really dedicate their resources over the summer. They both spent a lot of money in the New Jersey race. And now we're seeing these endorsements and visits by someone like Barack Obama, for example, or that tele rally you mentioned. So they do help shift votes, especially when the race is determined to be pretty close. And so every vote is really going to matter. So you want to make an effort as a candidate. You want to turn out your base, but you also want to turn out those independents. And I think Barack Obama, being of the more traditional wing of the party, being a former president, really helps focus the campaign's attention on those core voters of the Democratic Party, but also those independent voters who may have been on the fence.
Yeah, it's funny, Professor, hearing, and this is true, and I'll go on in detail what I'm about to ask you. We say that Barack Obama represents the more traditional wing of the party. When he ran for president, I was at ABC at the time. He was considered the radical. He was considered the far leftist. It's funny how the parties each, and Trump would have been considered who knows what, because Trump is not conservative on a lot of things. People think he's a conservative. Tariffs are not conservative. That's antithetical to all things conservative. So like traditional conservatives look at Trump and say, he's a Trump. We don't know what he is. He's his own thing. So it's kind of interesting to see how we've now based on the way the mindset is, we look at a Barack Obama as a traditional Democrat, and even a Bill Clinton in his day was like radical. Today, he would be conservative by Democrat standards. And we look at like I said, at a Trump, and he's considered conservative, but years ago we would have considered him a libertarian. But I'm sure you love this as a political scientist, if you will, to study this. So where do you see the governor's race this morning with the Atlas Intel poll literally having them 9/10 of a point apart? And this was the poll that predicted the last two presidential elections to within a point.
Right. So I think the race is definitely close, and I think a wide variety of polls have indicated this. I think there are some elements in the Atlas Intel polls that have been critiqued, particularly in terms of the results they're showing amongst Black voters. And so, as a political scientist, when we see this kind of outlier poll, the response is to say, okay, let's see if this gets repeated in another
Right.
poll. So that would be kind of my approach to it. I think they are consistent with other polls in the sense that they are showing that the race is extremely close. We know from 2024 that some electors, some voters, particularly Black men and Latino men, have shifted towards the Republican Party. So as a political scientist, I'm curious to see if that kind of outlier outcome is going to be repeated this time around.
Yeah, and it's for those who don't realize the Atlas Intel poll has Jack Ciattarelli beating among all blacks, not just black males, but among all blacks surveyed. It has him winning by 20 points, which is, I think, not that likely. That does sound like an outlier, no matter who you are on what side of the spectrum. But yet, at the same time, it's something to, it raises an eyebrow because there had to be some little spike in the number. But you don't know. You have to look at the sample. You have to look at how many. They could have all been from one area. That, you have like a Passaic County where you have African Americans in Passaic County who've shifted sharply to the right, much to the dismay of Democrats. Now, you work with young people every day. Where do you see your students and Gen Z leaning politically? Because we're hearing like around the country, a lot of Gen Z is going right, but yet in Northeast, a lot of them are going left. What are you saying?
So, as a professor, I try really hard not to ask my students what their
Right.
political leanings are. I can tell you about their interest in the race or about the likelihood that they're going to vote. I think the interest in the race is a bit low, to be honest. There is voter fatigue, particularly for that generation. I think some of them don't really know who the candidates are. And I think that's partly on, their responsibility to inform themselves. I think also the
Right.
candidates haven't necessarily reached out to that particular demographic.
I think you've nailed it. And I don't mean to cut you short only because we're out of time for the segment, but I think that's it. They need to use that social media more. Dr. Fanny Lawby, professor of political science at Montclair State, thank you so much for coming on this morning. We will be tapping you a lot to get more info in the next few days. We appreciate you so much, Professor. Thank you.
For
It is
having
now,
me.
thank you, 40 degrees right now, 7:43. When we come back, Michael Rasmussen, director of the Rebovich Institute for New Jersey Politics at Rider University, talks about the big races. We'll be right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Ciattarelli, New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
ONNJ Mornings, I'm Ken Rosato at 7:45, and we are taking calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a nice voting day forecast. Good morning, Mike.
A great boating day, exactly. We've got some beautiful weather to maybe, I don't know, take your land yacht to a polling place by tomorrow. There will be some very nice conditions to head out early in the morning and even throughout the afternoon here in New Jersey, with our forecast looking very dry tomorrow. A couple sprinkles possible up in northeastern New Jersey from Hackensack toward Wayne. Low 60s is average, but it's the sunshine all day tomorrow that'll feel really pleasant after we kick these clouds out of here today and bring back nice dry weather tomorrow. Down in the tropics, after Melissa came through, there is no chance of development, so very quiet there. Some good news for the recovery efforts. And our forecast back here in New Jersey keeps it slightly cooler than average for the first 2 weeks of November. This is going through November 17th. All of that heat is locked out in the west and Midwest, and even slightly higher chances of rainfall. Also good news, since we could use the rain specifically in the northern half of the state for the next 2 weeks. So as our forecast goes into tomorrow and Wednesday, dry, sunny conditions. Temperatures climb into the upper 50s and low 60s, peaking at 63 on Wednesday, and then cooling back down into the lower 60s on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Best chance of rain is in northern New Jersey on Sunday, but beyond that, it's dry the rest of the week. Even down the shore with an even milder Wednesday at 65. It'll feel quite pleasant through the weekend, with dry weather remaining at the shore through Sunday. So really great weather, Ken, to enjoy the first few days of November. Keeping it sunny, keeping it dry, beyond the sprinkles down the shore today. We're looking good the rest of the week.
All right. Thank you, sir. We appreciate you. 43 degrees now, northern New Jersey, 44 degrees in Trenton. It's 41 degrees in Cape May at this hour, 7:47. And in terms of traffic, we look at the let's see, 287. There we are. Southbound from exit 14, Route 22 to exit 13, Route 28, Bridgewater. All lanes are open, but as you can see, a little bit of fog in the air, and that's causing a bit of a slowdown. So just give yourselves extra travel time on 287, again on Route 22. Bridgewater area. We have a delay on Route 24 eastbound from 287 to exit 2. So it's that same area. I think it's fog just impacting that whole area. Your approaches to the Hudson River right now, the Holland Tunnel is 25 minutes. The Lincoln Tunnel, they're telling us, is 35 to 40 minutes. Don't know what's causing that delay, why everybody's heading there. Also pretty heavy at the GWB, upper and lower level 80-95 approach. You can see the lower level on the left, upper on the right. Upper's a slightly better approach. Either way, it's going to cost you 40 minutes into Manhattan. 7:48. Tomorrow is election day, of course, and voters are getting ready to make their voices heard up and down the ballot, from local offices to statewide races. Every vote will help shape the future of the Garden State. To help us break it down and what to watch for, our friend Micah Rasmussen. I always screw up your last name. Now I'm screwing up your first name. What the heck? I need my coffee, Micah. Director
I throw
of the
a couple of curveballs, you know?
Yeah, there you
It's
go.
not one, but two.
Direct. They say, Michael? Is it Michael? No, it's Micah, director of the Rebovich Institute for New Jersey Politics at Rider University. Good morning, Micah. I know you have nothing better to do today. You're going to get a massage and a mani-pedi. Nothing
Yeah, that's
scheduled.
right. I got to take the day off, right?
Well, this is the final countdown. The latest poll from Insider Advantage. Trafalgar has the two candidates for governor in a virtual tie, 50.2% for Sherrill, 49.3% for Chitterelli, with a 2-point margin of error. But I should mention, now it's 3 polls actually this week that have that kind of point. But in every case, Chitterelli is the one behind. Is there significance to that, or do we look at the margin of error? What is the significance to that repetition?
We can look at a lot, but I agree with you that I tend to look at trends. And in the primary, we had this situation where Cheryl was ahead in every poll in the primary on the Democratic side, and nobody else was ever showing ahead. And it wound up being determinative. It wound up being the way things fell. So there's a lot of consensus around that. Um, most of these polls, even the tight ones, are showing her at or above 50%, which is a magic number in polling because it shows us that more are supporting her than are supporting, not just more, but a majority are supporting her. That means a minority are supporting Jack in these polls, even the tight races. And so, I think if you look at those tight polls, um, does it surprise anybody on either side if it winds up being a 2 or a 3 to 5 point race? No, I think most people think that is where it's going to lie, and that means every vote counts. It means get out there and vote because anything can happen when you're at that margin.
Michael, when people still say that they are undecided, as recently as this weekend, is it they're just not paying attention? They just don't want to be bothered? How is somebody undecided at this point? And does it bode? I mean, you have two candidates that people really kind of know because you know who your congressman, you should know who your congress member is, and you have a Jack Ciattarelli who was an assemblyman and who ran twice before. You would think by this point there should be some recognition. At some point, they looked at TikTok or something and figured, oh, that's what this person is for. Why
Yeah.
do you still have a few points of undecided?
We're late deciders in New Jersey, especially when we don't get a lot of information on a daily basis about the campaign. We'll decide maybe not this late, but I think there's some evidence that some of those late deciders have been breaking toward Jack because he's made up some ground in recent polling. So I think that has bode well for him. The fact that this last little group has not come over, I think you're right. At this point, how many of them are actually going to come out? How many of them are going to stay home? It's a really good question. I've been thinking about the election this way, Ken. We've had a really strong early vote, and that probably means the electorate is going to be about 1.4 million, the early voting electorate. We've got 1.2 million votes cast so far. We will probably wind up with 1.4 million early votes cast by the time we get to the election. That probably means a roughly equal amount is going to vote on election day. So when you think about it, if the electorate favors Democrats in the early vote and it favors Republicans in the election day vote, then it's really a question of who gets a stronger piece of their half of the election, right? And what we know a little bit about this early vote electorate, 300,000 more Democrats than Republicans will have voted. That's a strong firewall, or whatever you want to call it. Republicans have to overcome that. They have to get a more Republican electorate to come out on election day.
And while they tend to come out en masse, the Republicans on election day, you have Republican leaders who've been saying for the last 5 years, you know what, take advantage of early voting. Anything can happen. Your car could break down, stuck at work, oversleep, kids got to go to the hospital for something. Anything could happen. Take advantage of early voting. Democrats very wisely have used that tool, but you're starting to see Republicans do that a little bit now. About half as many Republicans early voted, right, versus Democrats.
Yes, and I think they were hoping to gain some of the ground on Democrats in that early vote, especially the in-person early voting. What happened is, you're right, they came out in pretty good numbers. They weren't able to gain on the Democrats. Democrats have still wound up in the early voting period. They could wind up about 40,000 votes ahead in terms of who came out in that in-person early vote. So I think it's to the consternation of Republicans that they didn't wind up gaining any ground despite the fact that they turned out. And again, it leaves them with election day only to close that margin. And it's a lot of votes to close. They can do it if they have a really strong vote on election day, but it's a lot of votes to close. What we saw in 2024 and 2021 is that firewall was partially breached with Trump and partially breached with Ciattarelli the last time, but it did survive intact, whether it was by 4 points or 6 points.
Yeah, that's the thing. And it's really gonna really come down to getting everybody out there and voting. As I say, if you have an elderly parent, a neighbor, anybody, get them to the polls, make sure that they vote because that vote may be the deciding vote. It only takes but one, right? One vote
Exactly.
could decide it
Yeah,
all if it really came down to it. If we can,
especially if
we have a
we're in that 1 point range. Yeah.
Exactly. If we can, with a short amount of time we have left here, I wanted to quickly hit some other local races in New Jersey. You have the Jersey City mayor race. You know a man very well, Jim McGreevey, former governor of the state. You were his press secretary, right, for Jim
My
McGreevey.
old boss.
Um,
Yep.
yeah. Look, one thing no matter where you stand politically, one thing that everyone always says about Jim McGreevey is he's a nice guy. I mean, he comes across as just an affable, nice guy. Um, so we'll call him a happy American. We'll call him that. Um, the insiders know what I'm talking about. But
Yeah.
Jim is now running for Jersey City mayor. Where are things looking there? Because it's pretty much Jersey City's a Democrat town.
It is very strongly so, and a lot of Democrats are coming out and voting in Jersey City, maybe 25,000 in advance of the election. So it's really strong turnout. One of the reasons for that is because you have 7 candidates in the race. And one of the things I've noticed is that a lot of the other candidates are anti-McGreevey or stop McGreevey. They are grassroots candidates. But if they're splitting up their votes 6 ways, they're kind of leaving him with the pro-McGreevey lane all to himself. Now, the caveat there, and I think that probably bodes well for him, he's the most well-financed candidate, the most well-organized candidate. The caveat is that if no candidate gets to 50%, we go to a runoff election. So you could have a situation, it's not looking like he might get to quite 50 with all those candidates in the race. That's a tall order. So if it goes to a runoff between one of the grassroots candidates and McGreevey, then they get the kind of head-to-head that they would want, and we'll see what happens. That'll be later.
All right, with about a minute left, looking across the Hudson to New York City, every single poll, even I love how they tout, oh, Andrew Cuomo he's coming, he's now only 92 points behind. Oh my God, I mean, this is a fait accompli, is it not?
I agree with you. Yes, I don't think there's anything that's going to happen to stop Mamdani at this point. And it's sort of a runaway train. If you see the crowds he's getting, if you see the kinds of early votes he's getting, it seems like a real phenomenon. And I think New Yorkers are just going to have to vent their spleen and do what they're going to do, and we'll see what happens. We've had left-wing mayors of New York before, whether it's David Dinkins or whether it's Bill de Blasio. We'll just have to bear down and see what happens.
That's it. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you get another chance in a few years. It's, everyone's making it sound like the world will end. No, not going to end. And by the way, whoever wins governor of New Jersey, could we do something about changing the name Drumthwacket?
It is a little bit a feat, right? It sounds like a little fancy for New Jersey taste.
Yes, he comes to Drumthwacket this weekend. We're playing croquet in the yard, Micah. Yes,
That's
come.
not
It'll be
us.
lovely.
Right, exactly.
Exactly.
It is
It's
in
more like
Princeton, we'll give it that,
Drumthwacket.
Yeah.
Micah Rasmussen, director of the Rebovich Institute for New Jersey Politics at Rider. Bet you didn't want that this morning. Enjoy the next 48 hours. We'll check back with you this week, my friend.
Exactly.
Always
Thank
a pleasure. You bet.
Take care.
When we come back, we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, could be a shower, highs to 60. Lots of sun tomorrow. We're coming right back.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Very good morning. It's 8 a.m., Monday, November 3rd, 2025. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. The number is 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. If there's something you heard, you want to complain about, you want to bitch about, you have opposite views, you have the same views, we'll take it. Give us a call. We want to hear from you. It's all about you. This is your morning show, New Jersey. Clouds today, maybe a shower. Highs about 60, then lots of sun for Election Day tomorrow. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with a check of the Garden State forecast. And Mike, I'm looking, we got 44 degrees up and down the state right now. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. I love the way you describe tomorrow's weather. Delicious. Because it really will be just picture perfect. It's such a great way to describe the sunshine, the crisp, cool air, and the warm afternoon ahead. Right now, cloudy, cool conditions across the state with temperatures a little bit milder at the shore where it's raining currently. But this rain is not long-lived. It's out of here in the next few hours. And it's only south of 195. Most of northern New Jersey stays dry today with just some clouds. You saw those clouds come in late last night. The rain skipping by out to sea. Already it's wrapping up and headed out toward the Atlantic. So with the cloudy conditions for the morning, breaks of sun by the afternoon will look pretty good later today, but still quite breezy. That easterly wind up to 23 miles per hour right now in Atlantic City and Cape May, making it feel a touch cooler. Feels like 37 with that light breeze up in Sussex. Through this afternoon, the winds start to switch directions. So they blow from the east from this morning. That's what keeps us cloudy through the rest of the early morning hours. And then by tomorrow, nice and dry with that lovely westerly breeze, not too windy, but just a little bit of a breeze to keep us clear into tomorrow afternoon. And the warming trend continues for Wednesday with the southwesterly breeze component, and that will take us into the low 60s by the middle of the week. So here go the showers. They are out to sea by the later part of this morning. Most of the rest of the day, I think, is generally partly sunny, breaks of clouds and sun, and then with that, we'll see a little sprinkle potential up in the northeastern corner of the state, but I think we stay dry. It's tomorrow morning that starts off bright and beautiful, stays clear all throughout the afternoon, and then Wednesday sees those temperatures spike into the low and mid 60s. So a lovely middle of the week with the dry weather continuing for Thursday and Friday. Great weather ahead. That's a few degrees above average, and it stays nice and sunny all throughout. So clear skies. I mean, we try to get all the sun we can this time of year, considering how the sun sets so early, and it gets pretty dark by 4:30 this evening. Sunset is just after 4:30. So going into Wednesday and Thursday, you see that temperature cool off back into the 50s, but at least we stay in the 50s through Friday and Saturday. We'll talk more about it coming up with the weekend weather, Ken. That's in a few minutes.
Very good. Thank you, Mike. 44 degrees now, northern New Jersey, and 44 degrees still in Trenton. 44 also down in Cape May. We take a look at some of the traffic in the area now. We have a crash on 495 eastbound east of 1 and 9 in North Bergen. And you can see this is the where it is. So apparently you see the little bunch up of cars there as they're making their way on. But just beyond that point is where this happens. So that's where you have that crash at 495 eastbound east of 1 and 9. So they're coming on from 1 and 9 there, and then they're going to hit that crash probably the next shot, you'll see bumper to bumper backing up to where they're getting on. We have delays right now in making your way across the Hudson River. The Holland Tunnel is now 25 minutes. That's not the problem. The problem is the Lincoln. It's been 40 to 45 minutes all morning long. I don't know what the issue is. Usually it's about 10 minutes lighter than that, at least at this time. And your GWB 8095 approach upper and lower level has been pretty heavy. This is what you got. This is actually a little better than it was. The upper level approach is on the right, lower on the left. We're talking 35 to 40 minutes into Manhattan. Our time now is 8:04. Many key figures for both parties have shown up in support for either candidate. We're talking the race for governor of New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill for the Democrats, of course, and Jack Ciattarelli for the Republicans. Well, last week, former Democrat Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg came to Westfield train station to talk about the Gateway Tunnel project. On New Jersey's Sean Trunk has the story.
New Jersey is facing the loss of the most important transportation project in the state.
At the Westfield train station, former Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg campaigned with Mikey Sherrill to show his support not only for her candidacy for governor, but also to stand up for the now effectively canceled Gateway Tunnel project.
And the president is prepared to destroy tens of thousands of good-paying union construction jobs, make commuting worse for hundreds of thousands of New Jerseyans, make the economy worse for millions of Americans. And shockingly, there is only one candidate in the race for governor who is standing up for the commuters who count on these tunnels every day.
The Gateway Tunnel project is a $16 billion investment to build and restore tunnels under the Hudson River to more easily connect New Jersey and New York City. Mikey Sherrill was heavily involved with getting the funding for this project, even gaining the moniker of the tunnel-obsessed congresswoman.
I fought tooth and nail, and we got that federal share. The most significant project in the entire nation. A project that could impact about 100,000 jobs in the region.
Commuting to the city takes a long time, and we see other towns getting direct transportation to the city, and I feel like Westfield deserves that same convenience.
Trump comes over and goes, I'm going to punish New Jersey because they didn't vote for me, and I'm taking away this project, and that just can't be. Like, it just can't happen.
And I can't understand for the life of me why we would not invest in the Gateway Tunnel when so many people are moving out of the city, especially since COVID, have been inhabiting our suburbs. We need to do better. We have to have this investment. It's a no-brainer.
Just a couple days before this rally, however, the current Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy, claimed that the project is actually now just under review.
It shows that pressure works. It shows that New Jersey fighting for this project is making a difference. Problem, of course, is you need leaders who are ready to carry that forward, and the contrast could not be clearer in this race.
For On New Jersey, I'm Sean Thrunk.
Thank you, Sean, for that. It's 8:07, and some potentially damaging news for candidate Mikey Sherrill. Fox News Digital posted an interview with a man who claims that he was a former Naval Academy classmate of Mikey Sherrill. Now, the whole controversy with when she was at the Naval Academy, and she won't elaborate. She just attacks the Ciattarelli camp for releasing the information about the fact that she wasn't allowed to walk in her graduation ceremony, and she was kept off the list of graduates. Even though she did graduate, she was kept off the list. Well, according to this former classmate, he says that Sherrill is concealing her true involvement in what was a massive cheating scandal that rocked the U.S. Naval Academy in the 90s. Over 100 kids were involved. In an interview with Fox News Digital, Brett Sadler, a Heritage Foundation senior research fellow who served 26 years in the Navy after graduating from the Naval Academy in 1994, says that Sherrill's involvement in the scandal goes deeper than she is letting on.
She had to have lied about what she saw and who she saw. It wasn't, I'm not going to say anything. It wasn't a, I don't want to divulge anything. It was not that got her in trouble. She had to have actively misrepresented things, lied. That's that group. That was the bar, that very low bar that was established, and how they try to retrain as many of the midshipmen that were under a cloud of suspicion because they wanted to make sure they got enough of them graduated, because it was upwards of 125 people at the height of this.
Yeah. Well, the latest polls have Cheryl and political opponent Jack Ciattarelli in a virtual tie. As we were just talking to Micah Rasmussen from the Rebovich Institute at Rider University, that literally they are 9/10 of a point apart with a margin of error of 2 points. This could go either way. So even if you were thinking, I might or might not vote tomorrow, please get out and vote. It could literally come down to one vote. 8:09 is our time, and some surprising new polls show Andrew Cuomo may still have a shot, albeit a small one, a far one, but a shot at beating Zohran Mamdani for New York City mayor. After all, the Atlas Intel survey still has Mamdani in the lead, but that lead has now been cut down to just under 7 points if this remains a three-way race. Now, this is not going to happen, but should Republican candidate Curtis Sliwa drop out, that same survey shows Cuomo would win the race 50 to 42%. Sliwa, though, has stated again and again and again he is remaining in the race to the end because he is the legitimate Republican nominee. Cuomo lost the Democratic primary and is running as an independent. So technically, if anybody is going to be called the what's the word? The spoiler. I couldn't remember the word. The spoiler. It would be Andrew Cuomo, not Curtis Sliwa, who legitimately is the Republican title bearer to run for mayor of New York. I think you just about have that fait accompli and accept the fact that you're going to have a Zohran Mamdani mayor in New York, and we'll see what happens in the next 4 years. Governor Murphy, Senate President Scutari, and Assembly Speaker Coughlin announced the quick delivery of $42.5 million in food and hunger grants to New Jersey food banks to help out as the government shutdown has halted the release of SNAP benefits. The USDA cannot fund SNAP benefits, and that affects some 800,000 New Jersey residents. Grants have been allocated to 6 major organizations, including the Community Food Bank of New Jersey and Food Bank of South Jersey, to ensure they can continue providing food to needy individuals. Governor Murphy declared a state of emergency in New Jersey as of Saturday due to the federal suspension of SNAP benefits because the government shut down thanks to 5 Democrats in the Senate. SNAP recipients can access any remaining balances from October or prior months, and those receiving state supplemental benefits will continue to receive them. But once again, this is, bar none, the Chuck Schumer Democrat shutdown. It is unquestionably the Democrat shutdown. Anyone who thinks, and Governor Murphy had to, of course, politicize this. You know what, Governor Murphy, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out as you leave. Governor Murphy, once again, on his way out the door, trying to blame the Trump administration for the shutdown. There are 5 Democrats because we have a rule. You need to have 60 votes. See, maybe he can't be that stupid. He's got to be disingenuous. You need 60 votes in the Senate in order to pass a spending bill, even a continuing resolution for a spending bill. That is the way it's set up. There are only 53 Republicans. You need to have a number of Democrats. You have 1 Democrat who came over, and of course, Vice President Vance can break the tie, so that's 1 extra. So you still need 5 Democrats to vote in the Senate in order to pass a continuing resolution. And thanks to Chuck Schumer, you're not going to get it. So the shutdown continues, no SNAP benefits. When we come back, how do Democrats feel Mikey Sherrill's doing in the race? Can she pull it off? We'll speak with one of her surrogates next. Clouds today, could be a shower, highs about 60, lots of sun tomorrow though. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast, and we'll take calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings. Don't go away.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
And welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato at 8:15. We'll take calls at 888-658-0234. Clouds today, could be a shower. Highs about 60. Lots of sun, though, for Election Day tomorrow. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
You can. Got a beautiful day ahead. Gorgeous weather forecast for this afternoon. And as we head into tomorrow, we're nice and dry. The radar showing a little bit of that light rain starting off our morning down across Atlantic and Cape May counties, but it's quickly moving out to sea, already dissipating just in the last few frames here, likely just the tip of Cape May seeing that light rain after around 8:15 this morning, bringing back the cloud cover for the rest of the morning. And you can see some of those showers even dissipating right now down 206 and back across the White Horse and Black Horse Pike there through Winslow and Egg Harbor City and back over toward places like in Cumberland County down toward Woodbridge. So we're nice and dry through this afternoon and keeping our skies clear once we get beyond the 1-2 o'clock hour today. Even the future radar has that rain moving out quickly. Central New Jersey's forecast seeing the clouds give way to sunshine this afternoon, so the chance of rain you see here is pretty much done. I think we're dry from this point forward in Monmouth and Ocean County, and then bringing back some more of that sunshine for tomorrow. This is the system giving us the rain this morning, moving out to sea. This system over the Great Lakes is scooting off to our north, so we tap into this lovely dry real estate for the rest of the afternoon tomorrow and really all the way through the rest of the week, including the first part of the weekend. Saturday climbs to a high of 61, while Sunday is a touch cooler, could see some showers around. We're pretty much dry until then, so it's a lovely stretch of this pleasant weather, Ken, that takes us into the first few days of November.
You're always such a positive guy. You know that?
I'm trying.
You are. I mean, here we could have buildings burning behind you, tornadoes whipping by, and Mike has a smile on his face and says, "It's gonna be okay." That's a good dad. That's Mike. All right, bud. Thank you very much. I wish you could say that about my paycheck. That'd be a good thing. All right. I'm kidding. Thank you, Mike. It is 44 degrees right now in northern New Jersey. It's 46 in Trenton and 46 degrees now in Cape May. And in terms of traffic, we do have a lot of it. Let's take a look now. Route 21, we have delays on 21 southbound from north of Passaic Street, Oriental Street area to I-280 in Newark. All lanes are open, but you can see, is that what we're seeing, Pam? Is that the shot that we picked? It doesn't. Yeah, pick the other. There are two camera shots. That one doesn't show. There we go. They both cleared up. This is amazing. Literally 1 minute ago, both of those shots had strips of traffic. So what I just told you must have been cleared up in the last 30 seconds. That's pretty crazy. We do have a crash on 495 though, eastbound, unless they're lying to us there. Eastbound 495, east of 1 and 9 in North Bergen. This has been a little issue for the last hour. The left lane is blocked. It's not a massive problem, but it's definitely causing delays. We have delays also on 280 westbound from 16E Essex Street in Harris into 14E King Street, Newark. All lanes are open, but just a bit of a slowdown through there. And your Hudson River approaches right now, your Lincoln approach, it's 40 minutes from the Turnpike to the Lincoln Tunnel. And then for the Holland, it's only about 25. Your much better bet is the Holland Tunnel. There, GWB upper and lower levels. About 35 minutes in, you can see jammed on the lower level side on the left, upper level at least moving a little bit. So that pack your patience. It's going to take a little time getting it to Manhattan. 8:19, it is just a day until New Jersey voters head to the polls to elect the next governor. The race between Democrat Mikey Sherrill and Republican Jack Ciattarelli has drawn national attention, with both campaigns making a final push to connect with voters. Joining us this morning to talk about the closing hours of the campaign is Phil Alagia, Essex County Chief of Staff and a surrogate for Mikey Sherrill. Good morning to you, Phil. Good to have you on.
Hey, Ken, great to be on. And I hope I can be as positive about Mikey's campaign as Mike was with the weather, because it's a gorgeous day outside.
Well,
Absolutely.
And I talked to Micah Rasmussen about this. There are 3 different polls in the last 5 days. All show the race comes down to about a point. And it says the margin of error in each case is 2 points. So suggesting it could go either way. But the one thing I pointed out with Micah Rasmussen is in every case, you have Mikey Sherrill, the person who is 1 point ahead. So that is extremely significant. While at the same time, you could say, all right, with 855,000 extra registered Democrats in the state, she should be 7 points ahead. Where do you look at it at this point? Do you just think it's just going to come down to a neck and neck race and everybody has to get out and vote?
I think it always comes down to who's going to come out and vote. But there was also a Fox poll that came out 2 days ago that has up 7 points. And there's another poll that came out, I'm not sure, Quinnipiac, I think she was up 6 points. The thing to remember, Ken, there's been 47 public polls. I've had access to internal polls, and every one, Mikey Sherrill has been ahead. Every one, Jack Ciattarelli doesn't get near 50% plurality. Listen, I think we're in a great state. New Jersey is the race is in a great state. We're in a great blue state in New Jersey. I think there has to be a rush, a surge of Republican voters for a Republican any year to have a chance. And there's nothing that we see going on that indicates that that's going to happen Tuesday. Ultimately, it's about Democrats and people who are supporting Mikey coming out to vote. But I'm very confident that come tomorrow at 8 o'clock, we're going to have Governor-elect Mikey Sherrill.
Phil, what would you say the key issues are that seem to resonate the most?
I mean, if you're watching the ads, it's cost and cost of living. They're all talking about tax hikes and lowering your costs. That's what people right now are hurting the most with, is paying bills, affordability. And both campaigns have made that a central part of the argument of why they should be governor. It's who they believe more. You know, the fact that Trump is in the White House and we have a Democratic administration here makes it hard to blame only one party. So I think that's to the advantage of Mikey. Obviously, people in New Jersey want an affordable state. They want their costs low. They want their kids educated. They want to be able to buy a home and live here. And that's what Mikey's been talking about since day one.
Yeah. And, you know, the one thing, Phil, that I find funny, because I commute to a lot of states. I live between New Jersey and Florida. I do pay taxes in New Jersey, by the way, just to make that clear. I'm not one of those people who says, oh, I'm a full-time resident of Florida and don't pay. I do pay my taxes here. But the one thing that I find funny is if you get out of New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, you go to another state, you find that the expenses are low, much lower. Even Democrat states outside of the Northeast, by the way, I'm not saying only Republican states, but I've gone to Democrat states outside of this region. It's just very expensive to live here. And so I think that impacts a lot of people. And then that's why so many, when they retire, they're like, I've had it. I'm leaving. I can't afford to be here anymore. And I think you nailed it when you talked about the expenses. The question is, can the Republicans, the Republican candidate Jack Ciattarelli, now with 24 hours left, pin the expenses, the cost of energy, the cost of taxes, et cetera, on the Democrats? And what I've been saying here, I don't make any secret of my politics. I say, look, you have a state that has a Democrat governor, Democrat assembly, Democrat Senate. Even the Supreme Court has a majority Democrat appointees. 9 of the 12 Congress members, both senators, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then I think, like, of the 15 top largest cities, most of them are Democrat mayors. If the Republican can't make that point, then the Republican doesn't deserve to win, period. And that I don't know that I've heard that being made. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying that should have been the mantra right there, what I just said, if you want to convince the other side or convince your own side to come out and vote for you. Am I wrong with that?
Absolutely not. I mean, the question was, do they have time to change the message? No. With 24 hours, with less than 24 hours to go before polls open, we've already had over 1 million votes cast in the state of New Jersey because of early voting and vote by mail. So it's impossible right now to change the narrative. Yeah, I think that when Jack Ciattarelli early on talked about, hey, and again, I understand he was talking about a policy and an idea that we should consider a sales tax increase. It's not what New Jersey wants to hear, and it's something that the Mikey Sherrill campaign capitalized on. There's been a few gaffes, that have really hurt him propel himself to leadership. To actually say, hey, New Jersey is beautiful once you get outside of the cities. I mean, that's something candidates shouldn't say, and it's a gaffe that really hurt him in politics, in getting elected. So, of course, both sides are talking about taxes, keeping expenses low, keeping people's affordability is the most important issue in New Jersey. There's no way you're going to distinguish yourself in the next 24 hours. That's why Mikey Sherrill has the lead. It's a Democratic state, and I don't see any scenario where she doesn't come out tomorrow as the next governor-elect of New Jersey.
And you're in the county that I lived in for the majority of my time in New Jersey. I'm born and raised in New York, but Joe DiVincenzo used to be my neighbor, so he was my buddy.
Ken, I always appreciated when we had events in Essex County. You were always there to cover the cherry blossoms or the runs, and we've met a handful of times, so we always appreciated that. And the funny thing is, you talk about living in two states. I went to college at Rutgers Newark. I've never left Essex County, always been in Essex County, and I kind of regret not spending time in other places. But as Joe said, I always put Essex County first. And we talk about early vote and all that. We believe, based on the number of Democratic people who've already come out to vote in Essex County, we're already ahead 50 or 60,000 votes in Essex County. Based on, again, we don't know if Democratic voters are voting Democrat, based on the party registration. So I think we come into tomorrow with a huge lead that's going to be very hard for Jack Ciattarelli to overcome. But you still have to come out and vote. If you haven't voted, make sure you vote.
Amen. But you're right. And Republicans don't get that. It's like Democrats learned the early voting thing early on, and Republicans just seem very reticent to early vote. In Florida, anybody for any reason can get, because I'm there 6 months of the year. I vote in Florida, not in New Jersey. Anybody can get a ballot, an absentee. It's not even an absentee ballot. It's just a ballot. They don't call it an absentee ballot. And you could vote remotely. No questions asked. There is no issue. That's how I vote for Florida, because I don't know that week if I'm going to be New Jersey or Florida. So I always make sure I have my ballot. So I do not vote in New Jersey. I always make that clear. I can only vote, obviously, in one place.
But I think that's good for Mikey Sherrill. I'm happy for Mikey Sherrill that you're voting in Florida.
But I will tell you, my husband does vote in New Jersey. So there we go. We tend to cancel each other out. So there you have it. But it is good to see you. And I love my Essex County. I will always love Essex County, in spite of the fact that I'm in Morris County right now. But it's a great place. And
I love what you guys are doing, because it's so important for government that we have people reporting on what's happening in New Jersey and locally. And I think that the more and more that goes away, the worse and worse it's going to be for transparency and for keeping government accountable. So, thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for reporting on the local New Jersey stuff. And
we appreciate it. Phil, you're always welcome back on, my friend. And tell Joe I said hello, please. It's good to see you.
You got it.
My best. All right. Phil Elijah, the Essex County Chief of Staff and Surrogate for Mikey Sherrill. God bless you. Thanks for seeing you today. It is now 46 degrees, northern New Jersey. When we come back, another major data breach to report. And Elon has another new idea, this time a new concept in data centers and how they get built. Brandon Digital Strategist Fisher's next.
Our Stable Life, New Jersey's first equine wellness center. Are you or a loved one suffering from PTSDs, trauma, or life challenges? Consider non-riding equine therapy, where the soul is touched by the presence of a horse with a certified counselor. Our Stable Life is a non-profit at Bergen Equestrian Center in Leonia, New Jersey. We partner with individuals, groups, and agencies to help people recover from addiction, trauma, phobias, and more. Explore equine therapy for healing. BergenEquestrianCenter.com.
I'm Jack Chittarelli. New Jersey's been home to my family for more than 100 years. I love this state, but we need change. Housing, taxes, and electricity bills are crushing the middle class. And while you were paying more for everything, Mikey Sherrill was tripling her net worth in Congress. We need someone who's honest, with a real plan, someone who gets it. As governor, I'll fight every day for people who work hard and play by the rules, because that's what you deserve. Together, I know we can fix New Jersey. It's time.
Very good morning to you. It is Monday, November 3rd, 2025. We have 45 degrees now at 8:30. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Some clouds today, could be a shower. Highs about 60, but lots and lots of sun for Election Day tomorrow. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a detailed Garden State forecast. Good morning to you, Mike.
Good morning, Ken. You know, now that the sun rises an hour earlier, we can show you the visible satellite, the detail of the texture of those clouds working through New Jersey. And again, they're mostly across central and southern parts of the state, with a little break right now across northern New Jersey. You see some of those breaks in the clouds along 287, right up there along Route 78, but pretty much sucked in with the overcast right now down across the shore. That will lead to some early morning light sprinkles, which are already wrapping up. And then for the rest of the day throughout Ocean City, Avalon, and Atlantic City, we'll see those clouds linger with clearing by later on this afternoon. Temperatures still warm into the low 60s with that wind off of the water. It feels chillier, but ultimately most of the state will feel a little bit drier by day's end. And so there's the last radar frame there closing in on 8:30. You see some of those light sprinkles right now only across the barrier islands like out toward LBI and Brigantine with that easterly wind of about 21 miles per hour. So with the forecast looking dry through the rest of the day, although showers move east, maybe a few sprinkles. These usually don't hold together this afternoon, so plan on partly sunny skies with improving conditions by the end of the day. Highs make it into the upper 50s. And then tomorrow morning, we start off dry and cool. It'll be in the 30s north and west, 40s along the shore, and it'll feel great through the afternoon as we climb to near 60 degrees with that lovely light westerly wind. A beautiful day on tap for Election Day, right through the polls, closing at 8 p.m. By Wednesday, we see a little bit more of a southwesterly breeze, which raises temperatures a few degrees. We'll be back in the 60s for the middle of the week. And then throughout the remainder of the week, it's dry. Just a series of weak fronts that pass on through, giving us a mix of clouds and sun, I think, by Wednesday into Thursday, and even Friday holding with that dry pattern. The next chance for some rain, and it's albeit a small one, is not until Sunday of next week. So a whole 7 days of dry weather ahead. And that's what shows up on the 7-day forecast. Nice and pleasant with highs climbing into the mid-60s throughout Wednesday, cooling a touch by Thursday and Friday, and then Saturday looks dry. Sunday could have another chance of a shower. By the middle of the week, Wednesday and Thursday, we see mostly cloudy skies, I think, as highs climb into the mid-60s. Then the sunshine returns, and we're back to dry weather, Ken, on Saturday and Sunday.
All right. We like the dry weather thing. Thank you, sir. 46 degrees northern New Jersey now, also 46 in Trenton and 45 in Cape May. In terms of traffic, here's what we're looking at. We have a crash and overturned vehicle now on the Garden State Parkway southbound exiting at 81, which is Lakehurst Road, Toms River. We looked for a camera shot. We don't have one down there. Otherwise, we'd be showing you. All lanes are open, but there's a vehicle on the left shoulder just by the ramp. Take a look right now at this is the 139. This is the approach to the Holland Tunnel now. The South Tunnel eastbound New Jersey side by the toll plaza. All lanes are open, but we're told there's some kind of an incident. You see that jam up of cars there on the right side. They're trying to make it to the Holland, I think because they're avoiding the GWB, which was very heavy before. We also have a crash reported on US 1 southbound north of Route 18, New Brunswick. 2 left lanes of the 3 lanes closed. That's causing a big jam up. We're going to see if we have a camera shot for you on that. And we have issues right now on the 495. There's a crash on 495 495, the Helix, eastbound east of 1 and 9 North Bergen. That's right where 495 begins. Just after the merge with Route 3, you have a left lane blocked there. Your approaches to the 8095, I should say, approaches to the GWB upper and lower have been heavy all morning, especially on the lower level on the left-hand side. Upper on the right, you're talking about 40 to 45. On the lower level, only 35 to 40 on the upper. 8:34 is our time. Data breaches don't happen anymore, right? Wrong. And Elon is playing with some ideas to revolutionize how data centers get built. Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media, joins us now with more. Good morning, Fisher.
Good morning, Ken. Yeah, massive data break exposed 183 million email passwords, including tens of millions linked to Gmail accounts, marking it as one of the largest credential dumps ever uncovered. Among the 183 million unique accounts, meaning 183 million different email accounts, I know that it's for everybody Modesto. I know I was spelling that out, but they're individual email accounts. Approximately 16.4 million email addresses are newly compromised, never before seen in prior breaches. The leak impacts not just Gmail, but also major services like Outlook, Yahoo, and hundreds of other web platforms. The breaches did not result of a hack of Gmail itself. Instead, malware on users' devices recorded logins, such as capturing email addresses and passwords while accessing gmail.com. And again, we talked about this before. When you use the same passwords across multiple instances, multiple vendors, the chance is higher you have a bank password that's the same as Gmail and the hackers try it. This website that's on your screen, you can check for compromise. Go to, and it's Have I Been Pawned, or pwned.com. Have I Been pwned.com. Enter your email address. You can see it right there. You enter your email address and review any alerts about breach dates and details. So if you, Park Mobile had a data breach a long time ago. I was part of that. So you'll see Park Mobile, you'll see July so-and-so of whatever year. So you'll be able to understand where you might have an account that got breached, and then make sure, as security experts recommend, changing your password, enabling two-factor authentication. We've talked about that. Using, Ken, unique passwords per account, and then storing those passwords in encrypted password managers. Make sure your antivirus is up to date on your computer as well, and avoid clicking links or suspicious downloads. Just the other day, I got an email from a company that I deal with all the time, and it said, update to the PowerPoint, click here to download. Now, luckily, I have nothing to do with them in terms of doing PowerPoint, so I knew not to click it. And then 10 minutes later, a company-wide email comes out, or to all the vendors, I guess, mentioning, don't click on this email that so-and-so sent out. So it happens all the time. Make sure the worst case scenario, Ken, if you got an email from me and it said, hey, click this to download, you weren't sure, text, call, say, hey, did you send this before I open it? I just want to make sure.
Gotcha. So listen, just do what I do. Or not. My
Delete
password is password, and
1, 2, 3, 4.
that always works. No, I changed the 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just password now, and tell you, it works every time. Although I get these weird emails from people with like funky cartoons, and they keep asking me for my credit card, which I give them. No,
of course.
I'm kidding. Do not do that. It's a joke. Don't do that. But yeah, that's the thing. I think so many people, they think it's just an inconvenience. They don't get it, that is like a bulletproof vest to protect you. So change your email address if necessary too, whenever possible, right? That's
and computers nowadays, especially Apple, Microsoft, any computer really, and most phones have automatic built-in password managers. So it's no longer remembering all of them. As soon as you go to a website, it usually prompts you for the email that you've used for that, and then you click it. You usually have to verify it, Face ID, thumbprint, password, whatever, and then it'll pop in your password as well. It's easy to do, and the two-factor authentication usually is packaged in with that information.
Yeah, you say to yourself, if only the individuals who just spend all this time trying to hack you tried to do something positive and start a corporation to make money on a legitimate
scale.
No,
they have one. It's to hack you.
No, but you would think,
that's
like,
what
Look, I mean, I'm sure if Elon Musk wanted to go to the dark side and start a hacking company, he would probably make, have everybody on earth under his control. But the idea is you can still make billions of dollars doing it the legitimate way. I just don't understand why they don't take that knowledge and apply it that way. That's all I'm saying. So it's kind of crazy. But hey, speaking of Elon, when Elon Musk has an idea, people certainly listen. And his latest idea may
Absolutely.
revolutionize how data centers are built in the future. What is he talking about?
All right, I saw this in real time on X. Elon X'd, I guess it's not tweeted, the idea of transforming parked Tesla vehicles into a massive distributed AI data center by harnessing their unused computing power. The concept involves leveraging the, easy for me to say, the high performance AI hardware in Tesla cars to create a global network of computing resources. Compared to other devices, Tesla's FSD, which is full service driving chips, offers superior performance, outpacing some NVIDIA chips, AI laptops, and smartphone processors while benefiting from the car's battery, potential, the fact that it's charging, and cooling systems. Parked Teslas could contribute about a kilowatt of idle inference capacity. That's apparently a big deal in the AI world, potentially scaling to hundreds of gigawatts worldwide, exceeding the power of multiple centralized data centers. Owners would park their cars at home, at work, at the mall, and allow onboard computers in their car to process third-party AI tasks. It's crazy. And then it's functioning like a traditional, data center, but it's decentralized. Participation is envisioned as an opt-in feature where Tesla owners would consent to using their vehicles. And the technology exists in Tesla vehicles. The distributed data center concept is still in early discussion, not implemented, not deployed. So it's not in your car currently. They will let you know. It'll be a bigger deal than me just mentioning it here. It is not rolled out. It was just an idea that Elon kicked up, but it is definitely possible. And companies like IBM use this process on unused computer processors across the world for helping with cancer research and things of that sort. So it is possible, and it would be great, and it would negate those stories that we had about a couple weeks ago about building humongous data centers with massive power. So it definitely could revolutionize the way data centers are built in the future.
And this would only happen when your car is not in use, right? So
Correct.
it's not going
Yes.
to impose
Mhm.
anything on the brain of your computer when you have a Tesla. That
Correct.
everything is the brain when you're running.
Absolutely.
But the thing is, what about? I don't know the advance, obviously, on this. What about like getting a virus or something if you have outside access processing through your central processing chip? Can you
Sure.
possibly import a virus?
No, technically, I mean, the way data centers, it would be built the way data centers and structured and encrypted the way data centers are currently. So as probable as that happening in a data center would be as probable as this happening. There's always connection. Most of our cars now, whether you subscribe to a plan to actually get Wi-Fi in your car, is sending data back and forth. That is it's usually through the cell network. So this would just be part of it. And again, they would probably roll out software updates to further encrypt the data.
Gotcha. Interesting. Always something clever. You're always thinking 5,000 steps beyond the
He's
rest of humanity.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
absolutely.
Unbelievable. Brand and digital strategist Fisher, who can be found on X and Threads with username @Fisher and through his website, fisher.media. My friend, always good to talk to you. Thanks for coming on
Thanks,
today.
Ken.
You bet. 8:42 right now. We have 44 degrees. When we come back, what to do about the high cost of prescription drugs. We're going to talk to somebody who knows. Clouds today, could be a shower. Highs about 60 degrees. We're going to have lots of sun, though, for Election Day tomorrow. No excuse not to get out and vote. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. And we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching ONNJ Jersey Mornings. Don't go away.
Hey, New Jersey, want to choose how you live as you age? Tune into AARP New Jersey's new show, The Power of Us, the show that celebrates aging with dignity, purpose, and joy. From protecting yourself against fraud, to staying healthy and aging in place, to finding purpose through volunteering, we've got the tools, tips, and stories to help you thrive. Join us on ONNJ and discover the power of us.
Welcome back to ONNJ Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. 8:45. We'll take a call from you if you call right now. We just have a few minutes left. 888-658-0234. Clouds today, maybe a shower. Highs about 60. Before we go to Mike, we're going to do our traffic, though. We have some delays now on US 22 westbound, west of Garden State Parkway to west of Michigan Avenue, Union Township. All lanes are open, and a crash on the GSP with an overturned vehicle southbound exiting at 81 Lakehurst Road, Toms River. All lanes open, vehicle on the left shoulder. Taking a look at the GWB approach right now, upper and lower levels. We're going about 35 to 40 minutes to get across into Manhattan. The Lincoln is still about 40 minutes in. Holland is 25 minutes in. Now, meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Good morning, Mike.
Hey there, Ken. Good morning to you. We've got a beautiful day ahead, but not as nice as tomorrow. Tomorrow's weather going to be ideal for that stroll to the polls. Plenty of sunshine expected. As far as currently, the early morning showers that we had just wrapping up now at 8:46 this morning out on LBI, even there toward Brigantine and Atlantic City as those shells move out to sea. Had about a quarter of an inch of rain this morning in Cape May. That was the grand total. Elsewhere, dry across New Jersey. So the rain quickly wrapped up. There's a chance of a sprinkle across the northeastern part of the state later this afternoon, but I doubt you'll get much of anything at all. Certainly not worth it to carry the umbrella as more sunshine breaks out in between those clouds later on this afternoon. The tropics are quiet. The Atlantic Basin, nice and quiet, which is what we need after Melissa last week. Our forecast points to a slightly cooler start to November, whereas all of the big heat is out in the Midwest and West, and that's where the dry weather remains too. While in northern New Jersey for the next 2 weeks, we have slightly higher rainfall chances going forward. So a little bit of wet weather forecast for the rest of the day, but again, I think most of New Jersey stays dry. We're quiet through the middle of this week as temperatures climb into the mid-60s. A lovely, warm westerly breeze will feel great under that sunshine. Maybe a few clouds by Saturday and Sunday in northern New Jersey may have a few spot sprinkles. I think that by the first part of the weekend down the shore, after a lovely week there, highs in the mid-60s, we could see some drier weather take over for folks at the shore. So it's a pretty decent way to start off November. You can always catch the weather updated constantly, like 24/7, online on our website, ONNJ.com, and I'll see you tomorrow morning.
Countdown to Election Day, presented by AARP New Jersey. Visit aarp.org/NJ Votes.
Today, we're turning our attention to the millions of family caregivers here in New Jersey and across the country. The sons, daughters, spouses, friends, and neighbors who step up every day to care for loved ones. It is a role filled with compassion, but also with many challenges, emotional and financial, and often physical. And joining us this morning is Crystal McDonald, Senior Associate State Director of Advocacy with AARP New Jersey, to talk about what family caregivers need and why their work matters so much, and how policymakers can better support them. Good morning, Crystal. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Ken. Thanks for having me on this morning.
You bet. And who are we talking about when we say family caregivers, and what does that term really mean in practice?
Well, you said it when you opened up this morning. They are family, friends, neighbors. They're people who step up to care for a loved one when they need help. So if you think about the people that are in your life, most of us know someone who is helping to care for an aging parent or is preparing to, or they're caring for a child with a disability or chronic disease. And they're doing lots of things. They're helping with medication management, bathing, meals, transportation, medical appointments, all the way to more medical kinds of care like injections and wound care. And it's a labor of love, right? We do this because we care for our loved ones, but it takes more than love to care for a loved one. And we know that it's messy and complicated and it's time consuming and it's really expensive. We know on average that caregivers are spending about $7,200 out of their own pockets to care for a loved one, often going into more debt, using up their own personal savings. And then they're trying to figure out how to balance work because they're doing unpaid care that's often more than 20 hours a week, plus working full-time jobs because you still got to pay the bills in between all of that. And so, they are the backbone of our society. And actually, AARP has a new report we're releasing later today, 9 o'clock, actually, not too far away, U.S. Caregiving in the United States and across the states. So we'll have some more state-specific data that we'll be sharing and folks can take a look at.
Yeah, I'm living through this myself right now, so that's why these segments from AARP, I'm a member of AARP for many years, and I pay very close attention to this. I have a 95, soon to be 95-year-old dad with dementia and an 87-year-old mom, and I'm watching her trying to take care of him. We try to bring in help, and then my brother and me. So I am with you 100%, and I know exactly what you're talking about here. Caregiving is very rewarding, but it's so demanding. It takes a lot of hours, and so
Absolutely.
it is so
Yeah, they're
important,
lucky
I
to
think,
have
for
you.
policy. Well, I'm lucky to have them. I mean, they
Yes,
gave
that's
me
true.
a wonderful life, so that's why it's a quid pro quo in terms of love. We love each other very much. Talk about how important it is, though, for policymakers to recognize the support and support rather the work that family caregivers do, because a lot of people just think, oh, it's family, you're supposed to do that, but as you mentioned, it's all consuming.
Right. And I said this before, it takes more than love to care for a loved one. And they're lucky to have you. We're lucky to have them. But who's really lucky is the state. And so, although caregivers have been around, as long as people have been around, they've already been shouldering the burden of what it means to care for someone. But there are two things that are changing that make it everybody's responsibility. One is that in the next 10 years, less than 10 years now, 9 years, we are going to have more people over the age of 65 than we do school-age children for the first time in our country's history. And what that means is that we are going to have more people who need caregiving than we do physical bodies, just like sheer volume of the number of people who will be in the caregiving age range. The second is that we have a shortage of long-term care workers. It's hard work even when it's paid. And unfortunately, it hasn't been kind of a career that's been developed well. And so we are facing this growing need for caregivers and the shortage. And we know right now that we have well over 1 million caregivers in the state of New Jersey, and their unpaid care is valued at over $17 billion. That's a lot of money, and especially at a time when we're looking at our state budgets and how to manage the growing needs that we have. To put it in perspective, our state's Medicaid budget is give or take $24 billion. And that pays for a large portion of long-term care in New Jersey and across the country. And so we have to figure out how to provide the resources caregivers need so they can continue doing that job. We can't afford to lose any caregivers, and we need to figure out how to manage, the dollars so that we're investing in them in the future. If that's not enough, 1 in 5 voters are caregivers. That's a lot of people, and they overwhelmingly, across partisan lines, support candidates who work to encourage and provide better caregiving policies.
Yeah, it's just a fact that anyone who has a parent, and you still talk to your parents and love your parents, everyone has a parent. You're going to be in this circumstance, and then you have to look ahead for yourself. You have to always make
Absolutely.
sure you're planning ahead. So that's
You know,
important too. Talk about, yeah, go ahead, please.
I was just gonna say the number one personal call that I get from colleagues is, I saved for my retirement, but I didn't save for mom's. And how am I supposed to make this work? We want to do the caregiving work, right? But we do have to figure out, how do we go to work? How do we provide for childcare too? A lot of caregivers are sandwich generation caregivers. And so I really do. This is one thing that when we talk to policymakers and we talk to people on the street, when our members call, that everybody seems to have a personal story of how they're struggling with this.
And it's universal. And I'm 58, so now I'm that age. So I talk to all my friends, any friends from low 50s to mid 60s. They're all going through this right now. And when you're 20 and 30, you just don't even think about it. Not even part of your thought process. You get to
Wow,
this
you'd be
age, and then
surprised. You
it's
should
just
take
a
a look at
reality.
our data later today because caregiving is hitting across all ages. And so we
Good.
feel it, I think, hear about it often as our parents are aging, but we've got caregivers of children with disabilities, young people caring for young
Mhm.
parents, so
That's
I
good.
wish I could post
I'm
it
glad.
now, but take a look later.
That's refreshing that it's younger people that it's in the mind. And I think, when we come from the old country in the old days, and it's also different families from different countries where you have the multi-generation in the house. I had that. And then you have like I had friends who that wasn't the case. And I think when
Right.
you have the multi-generation, then taking care of the parent or the grandparent is more expected, right? But then when you have the people who are, I'm 18, I was out of the house, I don't talk to my parents about it," that's sort of different. But it's essential. But we all know those people, right? We all know people on both sides. What does it take though? How important is it, Crystal, for lawmakers? Now, we talked about the lawmakers across party lines. What can they do with policy and workplace protections, et cetera, to provide better access to resources?
Well, the good news is that we have a law that's already made it through, or a bill rather, that's made it through the Assembly that is right now in the Senate. And they have the opportunity to provide better job protections for family caregivers. So, one thing that's great about New Jersey is that we have a New Jersey Family Leave Insurance Program. And this program allows workers to apply who are caregiving for someone who has
Right.
a serious illness or condition. And right now, everyone pays into that program, but not everybody
And I
has
don't mean
job.
I don't mean to cut you off, Crystal, because we're down to the last 30 seconds and we have to
Oh,
wrap it.
sorry.
But thank you.
Yeah, I could
No,
talk
no,
all
it's not
day.
your fault. My
But,
fault. My fault.
we
But this is key, and we're at the end of the show. So I just want to make sure to tell everybody as we look ahead to the election season, it's important for caregivers and all New Jerseyans to make their voices heard. For more info on when, where, and how to vote, please visit aarp.org/NJ Votes. Crystal McDonald, you are the Senior Associate State Director of Advocacy with AARP New Jersey. We're going to have you back on. Too important a
All right,
topic,
great.
and
Thanks
we
so much, Ken.
appreciate you. And everything you said was amazing. Thanks for being on today. We taped that last week. Very important topic. Everybody who has parents especially should pay attention and remember for yourself as well. It is now 8:57. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says clouds today, could be a shower, highs about 60. We'll have lots of sun for Election Day tomorrow. That is on New Jersey Mornings for your Monday, November 3rd, 2025. I'm Ken Rosato. You could stream us at ONNJ.com and another 15 different platforms. If you liked what you saw today, catch us again tomorrow morning starting at 7 for Election Day. And then tomorrow night, all your election coverage starting at 7 p.m. right here at ONNJ.com on New Jersey. Have a great day.